Good morning. Welcome to another fabulous Floss Tube video from your mayor of Dorktown. That's right, here in Colorado, the sun is just rising, and it is time for me to start putting you to sleep, I think. Maybe. Who knows? All right, I have a list. Actually, I wrote it all down today so I would remember everything. And something I forgot to mention on my last Floss Tube video, maybe even the time before that, was Christine Derone from Every Stitch is a Pleasure had a drawing for her Halloween pattern, Lavender Wings, and I actually won that one. So I thought I would share that with you today. This is the pattern. Isn't it lovely? It's Autumn Shadows, I believe is what it's called. Yes, Autumn Shadow by Lavender Wings. And she also included this one, which I saw her finished piece and it was glorious. She had the right color green, I swear. It was lovely. So, sorry, 2 fire trucks first thing in the morning going that way, which means they're going back to the station. I don't know what the deal is this morning with heavy trucks, but it woke me up at 5 o'clock this morning. It is only 7:38. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so I won those, shockingly enough. Now, I've said this before, whenever there's a drawing, whether I enter it or not, I'm always very excited for the winner, and in this case it was moi. So, speaking of patterns, I went through my pattern box the other day because I'm still trying to downsize all kinds of things. And I went through and asked myself one more time. I'll probably continue asking myself this for another year or so. Why do you have this pattern, and do you think you'll ever stitch it? Well, I came up with a couple patterns and a kit, and these are in my Etsy shop right now, so I'll put that link down below for you so you guys can just scroll down and clicky. Hopefully it works this time. Apparently somebody finally clicked on the link and said, this doesn't work. And I'm like, wonder why. So the first one is by Blackbird Designs. It's Spring Blessing. There's that one. Now, before I continue on here, please know that until December 31st, there's 40% off in my shop if you enter the code FLOSSPAD. So even though I have these patterns in there, they're brand new, never been used. I have them in my shop for full price. I went and I actually, let's see, this one I couldn't find on 123. I found it some obscure, I think I went by eBay or something. No, now I don't remember where I found the price for it, but I just kind of guessed and threw a number on there. But yeah, so Blackbird Designs. So you get 40% off, which is still cheaper than going to 123, and it's still a brand new pattern. So there's that one. And things are falling as per usual. Next up is Music Amongst the Trees. It's a Karen Kluba pattern, Rosewood Manor. And I love her patterns, but there's only one that I really want to stitch, and that one is in my stash. Not to be seen yet. Two Bluebirds. I really like this one, but I'm not going to stitch it. So This one's kind of old. Is it old? Well, 2012. You know, it's been around. That's why some of these I couldn't find. And here's another Karen Kluba Buckleberry sampler, if you are interested in that one. And Starburst Flag of Canada. I decided not to stitch that. Now these bags, I usually put these kind of patterns in bags to keep them safe from whatever. So those will be going with the patterns. And then I have a kit. It's a in my mind it would be a beginner's kit. So if you have someone that you want to teach how to cross stitch, or they want to start but they they don't know, I don't know. Anyway, there's the Riolis pattern. And it's the whole kit with the, you can see the flosses on there and everything. I believe it's Madeira floss. Let me see. It doesn't say. Anyway, I forget. I think I read somewhere that Riolis, because it's in Lithuania, they do Madeira floss. So there's that. So those are the patterns that are in my store. And then I finally did it because a friend of mine asked, do you only do project bags on custom order? And my answer to that was yes. And then I asked myself why. So I was talking to Galdris DeFeer, who is the creator of Weaver's Band Tapestry Sal, which is the last pattern came out, so everyone should be finishing that up. And oh my gosh, those are some beautiful stitching projects that went on there, that's for sure. So she's going to do a drawing for the people that have finished the entire sal. So for the finishes, she's going to draw out of those names. And there's a bunch of people who haven't finished yet, but they might be a little more motivated now because I did post this in the group. But I asked, since I'm a silent, super stealthy, lurking admin of that group, should I provide a prize? And she says, oh, that would be lovely. So based on my floss pad, which I like the yellow. It's bright, it's wonderful. I took this with me to the fabric store and I ended up finding this beautiful fabric, and I made this. But with a yard of fabric, you can make 3. So I did. So I have this one. This is the prize for the Weaver's Band Tapestry Sal. So if you're a member of that and you're watching this, here it is, the beautiful project bag. 11.5 by 13, I believe, are the dimensions. But this is in my store, so if you are so inclined to have one just as pretty. I don't use fusible interfacing, I use batting. That's one difference in my bags. And then I was making the third one out of this fabric here, and accidentally, and I knew I shouldn't have been cutting fabric first thing in the morning because I'm not awake and I'm just like, so I ended up using some sparkly silver fabric. Let me see if I can get that to sparkle for you. But it's still pretty. Oh, there it is. Yay! So, still really pretty. I like it. This is the Winding Flowers design. So you'll see Winding Flowers 1 and Winding Flowers 2. Oh, wait. I'm sorry, I am corrected. One of these has been sold. So there's still one in the shop, but one of them has just been sold. I just saw that sale this morning. I apologize. There's only one. There can be only one. And then I made this one. And I just love this one. It's like very 70s, but look at that fabric. Oh, I love fabric. So pretty. Anyway, so yeah, it has, you know, the usual zipper. Yeah. Very, very lovely. I love it. And then, let's see. My last contract ended 2 weeks ago. Yes, 2 weeks ago. And I start a new one tomorrow. What's happening? The dog, my son's dog Lucy, chewed through my power cord for my laptop. So there may be technical difficulties if the power runs out. So let me check my battery now. Oh, it says it's charging now. It comes and goes, but as long as there's juice going to the laptop, it's all good. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah. So over by where my last contract was is the Super Joann's, and that's like, it's huge and it's stuffed full of goodness. So I found 3 different kinds of fabrics, and I've only cut one fabric so far, but I haven't done any sewing on that. The only one that I actually made was the Christmas one. Let's see. I love this, and can you see it? Oh yeah, you know there's gonna be glitter. So then I pulled all of my Christmas ornaments and everything out of my stash, threw them in here. Now this is pretty hefty. This is probably, I don't know, I'd have to weigh it, but that's probably about 8 pounds worth of patterns. But yeah, I have enough of this to make a bunch of project bags. And I know that when I put them in my shop, it'll be after Christmas, potentially sometime in January. But if you're like me, you want to put them all in one spot. There you go. And that way you can just pull the holiday bag and say, oh. So I have this one. I have one that is sparkly with acorns, and then a kind of matte colored one. You know what? Let me get the fabric I can show you so you can plan for January. It'll be so wonderful. Let's see. Get that up there. There we go. All right. And it's upside down. So here is the fabric. There's that one. And the acorn one is currently buried under a bunch of stuff. So, because I have lots and lots of sewing projects that I'm trying to get done. And of course, I did buy some really pretty fabric to do, I wanted to try a new pattern. And I am not really digging this one. I like these better. These are very clean, very, you know, I have it down. There may be many steps to making one of these, but I have it down. It works. But I love this fabric, and if I can find more, I'll get it. But this is, you know, great big bag. It's stuffed full of yarn. So let me show you the inside. Let's pull out some of this yarn. And then you can see the lining on the inside, of course, glitter. And it's really pretty, very watery. But I wanted to make a project bag out of this for my mermaid pattern, and I just happen to have a couple other mermaid patterns that I'm looking at. So, you know, this one would be in use for a really long time, but it turned out like this. And the reason I don't like this one is because of the corners. And granted, I did everything. See, I'm still messing with it. I did everything perfectly, and then I was looking at some of the better seamstresses who make bags similar to this, and I saw that their ends were just like this. So I don't know if you can see that, kind of roundy. I don't like that. It's not a clean finish for me. So even though the sewing is really good, shockingly enough, it just didn't strike my fancy. And yes, more stuff is falling to the floor. And then I had a yard of this fabulous fabric left. So as you can see, yes, glitter. Okay. This person wanted what do you call it? Grime guards for her hoops. So I made some grime guards. Aren't those lovely? Look at that fabric. So yummy. Yummy, yummy fabric. So there's that. And so these are going to get sent off. But I did use the remaining fabric because, as I said, out of 1 yard of fabric, I can make 3 of these. And because I'm recycling the vinyl from those really great bags, I made this one for myself. So I had the zipper match the vinyl and the, you know, the wow blue on here. So I have another project bag. Yay! I don't know what to put in it yet, but I'll figure it out. It'll be great. Okay, so let's see. Last video I showed you the ornament exchange, and after I got done with that one, I was really still in the mood to make another ornament. So I had an ornament from 1995, and back in 1995, my daughter had just been diagnosed with autism. I had a surgery in my cervix. I had issues. And just stuff was going on, and I was losing my mind. Well, that year I didn't have very much money, and every year I like to buy or make a Santa. So I have this pretty good collection of Santa Clauses for my Christmas tree. And that particular year I made 3 ornaments. And I'm going to insert a picture of the ornament in question. So you can see that it's not very good. No, that was really made badly. Now you remember, if you watched the last video, then you know already that I was not good at making ornaments. And so I carefully took apart that hideous little ornament. Now the stitching, I did look very closely at it. It was really good. My stitching's been fine for a long time, but trying to finish something, that was a different story entirely, because I didn't know how to do that. And, you know, I could have used my brain and figured it out, but, you know, we didn't have all the internet like we do now, you know, where you could just go on YouTube or go on How To, or, you know, someplace that has a tutorial and find out, how do I do this? So you remember last time, you know, I was pretty pleased with the ornament I had, but the corners weren't stuffed right, but it still looked really good. Sorry, Vana, for my corners. I'm still upset about that, I guess. But when I revamped the Santa, the 1995 ornament, it came out like this. Yeah. Yes, it did. Look at that. Oh, and look at my corners. Look at those corners. Those are stuffed. Stuffed. Yes. Now Vana can be proud of me because I did this. So you saw the before picture. Here's the after. So I was sharing this with my brother. He lives on a 36, is it 36 or 32? 32, it's 32. 32-foot Grand Banks. It's a little tiny fishing boat. He lives in Southeast Alaska. And when I showed him this, because I wanted to, I was pretty proud of myself. This was really cool. And I have a bunch of these I have little tiny scraps of Christmas fabric from I don't know where. And so he he knows the story about the ornament and, the stuff that this reminds me of. And he says, "Can I have that?" Just as sweet as could be. And I said, "Sure," which prompted the conversation to continue on with, well, what kind of ornaments do you have? And so he took a picture of what he was going to decorate his tree with this year, and I'll insert that right here for you. So as you can see, it's a dice bag, a dirty green rubber ducky, and a light bulb for a running light. So I just thought that was unacceptable. So what I did was I got into my Christmas ornaments, and I thought I really wanted to stitch these, the Burbaco, and they're supposed to be cards, but I'm like, those can be ornaments. They're really cute. But upon closer inspection, I can see that the model stitcher was in a hurry. That is some fast stitching going on there, and it's messy. But that's okay. And here's the second one. Get the glare off. There we go. Okay, so super cute, as you can see. And so I started stitching them. And if you follow me on Instagram, you know how far along I am. But here they are. Oops. I have to do it this way. So what I've done here is I've used the Sullivan's metallics. So I used red, silver, gold, and platinum, because for a couple of these the platinum looked better. So like this one has platinum right on the ornament. Isn't this funny? It's an ornament that has ornaments on it. And then of course the Christmas tree. I like these all, but instead of putting white cross stitch in here, I used beads, of course, beads. And then I just started the third set, which I'll finish on this one piece of fabric. So cute, so cute. Let me get these up here so you can see. Maybe this will help. So here's that. Dee, 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 dee. I can't see what you're seeing, but hopefully it looks good. And then here are these two. So that's where I'm at right now. And yes, I know, by the time I get done stitching and making the ornaments, which I'll probably end up showing you after Christmas on the end of the year Floss Tube, he won't get them until probably January, depending on when the plane goes, he might not get it till February. See, the mail goes to Ketchikan, and then from Ketchikan, TAC-1 Air picks up all the mail for Point Baker, Alaska, and takes it out in a little tiny plane, little float plane. So they dump all the stuff on the plane and they fly out there, but the only time they can fly out there is when the weather's good. So there's that. So who knows when he'll get it, right? Apparently they haven't had a plane. They count it down. I think one day it was 11 days. This time I believe it's 2.5 weeks. They haven't had a plane, so no mail. But these two kits, once I get done with them, and I'll probably have a drawing after Christmas for these. So if you want to think about that, I'll think about it as well. Oh, here's what I did do for these. Okay, this is very important. The floss that's used in the Burbaco is DMC, but they don't tell you the number of the DMC, and the description of the colors is not right either. So I went through my floss boxes and I matched up all the colors and I wrote them down on, can you see that? There we go. Upside down. This way? This way. Anyway, you could see where I wrote it down, and the symbol, so you can see that, you know, it's Christmas red, 326, 841, that sort of thing. And I just did the same thing with this one as well. And so whoever wins these, next time I do the end, or on the next Floss Tube video, if you want to know what the numbers were for the Sullivan's metallics that I used, just shoot me a note here in Instagram, and we'll get you squared away on that. In the meantime, let me see. We have announcements. I feel like I did something else. Maybe that's all I've been stitching. Oh my gosh, that's all I've been stitching. The rest has been sewing. That's probably why I feel like I've done more, because I did a lot of sewing. Okay, so for 2019, I think I told you this last time, the Neglected Floss Stitch Along is going to be posted on Stitching Pirates the first Saturday of every month, and a couple days later it's going to be on Guldress Stafir's blog. So you don't have to be a pirate to do Neglected Floss, and that way you can just go to her blog and get the pattern and stitch it up if you want to play along. And if you were to join the Weavers Band Tapestry Sal, I believe you would be allowed to post the Neglected Floss patterns to that. I need to confirm that with her first, because I don't remember what we decided, but I believe we can. So go and join the Weavers, and you can be privy to that, as well as Guldress going to do Ornament of the Month again for 2019. She did this back in 2015 and it was wonderful. And I did all of them and they are currently hanging on my tree, but I did them like microscopically small. Have I shown you guys these? I believe I have, but I don't think you really understand just how tiny these things are. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to get a couple for you so you can laugh at me. All right. So here they are. Yes. Yes, this is ridiculously tiny. This is one of the November ones, and what she had done that year was gem of the month. So whatever the birthday gems were, some months had more than one, so she did more than one pattern, and I did all of them just like that. Look at that. Yes. I was crazy insane at the end of that year, and because of astigmatism, I can't do them that tiny anymore, but I'm glad I did, but never again. Ever. Never again. So that's the ornament of the month, and then she's going to be doing once a month releasing a 50 by 50 pattern, and then once a month 25 by 25, so you can do those as well and post those on Weavers. I know you can post those there. My tea is getting cold. Okay. So I showed you all that stuff. Let's talk about planners because it's December. And I couldn't find two of them, but that's okay. You're going to get the idea here. So I used to subscribe to World of Cross Stitching. I really like the magazine. It's bright, it's fun, and they always have some good stuff written in there, even if it is super brief. And one year I got my magazine and they had this. It's a planner. So in this one, let me find a page. So it had fun stuff in it. It was really wonderful. And I didn't really use this one that much. It's falling apart. I didn't use this one that much. I mean, there's a little bit of writing in here. Oh yeah. Little scribbles because it's so tiny, right? So 2014, of course, I got another one of these, and I don't know where it is. It's somewhere. And so that one is actually falling apart because I wrote in it so much because I kept opening it, and trying to lay it flat, so I could do stuff. So, let's see, what year is this one? So that was 2014. 2015, I don't know where that one is. It's probably with the 2014 one, but I found the 2016 one. And here's this. This one was much more fun to write in. And it went in fits and starts. There are parts that, they have something and then they're totally blank. But I really like keeping these for historical value because then if I ever have a question about when did I start that, what was going on, then I can go back and look in there. So, every year is always a struggle for me because I want to find the just right, perfect planner, So it just gets funnier from here. Oh, I have to grab the other one. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, so what year was this one? 2017. I got this. I found this at Joann's, and I absolutely loved it. It's the perfect size. It's got all the scribble places for you to just go week by week. I like week by week because then I can see what my week is or add to it or cross things out, whatever. And it was just fun. And, I've got so many side notes written in here, doodles, stuff's going on, just notes, So I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So at the end of 2017, I was looking for another one just like it. And I thought I'd found it, and I ordered it off the Lang website because this is made by Lang. And I ordered it, and I thought, wow, that's much cheaper than going into Joann's, because I couldn't find one in Joann's. And I couldn't find one in Hobby Lobby, and they have them as well. So I ordered it from Lang's, and I got this. This is a little field guide. Now, granted, I did manage to, whoops, bookmark, write everything in here super tiny. That was very annoying to me. But I like the artist of this. Her name's Susan Wingate. And I thought, well, I really love Susan. That's the reason I like this book so much. Plus the way it was laid out is perfect. Well, I got this. I wasn't totally sad, but it wasn't the big book. So, you know, there really isn't any room in here to make a bunch of notes. You have to be super brief. You know, it's just really annoying. So I struggled through 2018 with that. And then I thought, you know what? Let me go look. Let me go see. I don't know how you guys keep track of what you're doing, you know, but I like the planner. So I get on Amazon, you know, because I went to Lang. I didn't see anything I wanted. I went to Amazon and I typed in Susan Wingate 2019 planner and came up with one that I thought was this size, spiral bound. Now, I don't know why people have such a hard time inputting correct information on Amazon, but imagine my surprise when I get this box in the mail. Now remember, this was last year. This tiny little thing was last year. And I get this big box in the mail, and this year I get this. This fits in a little pocket in the back of this book. And it's great. I mean, it is so great. And so you get the month at the beginning of the month, but you also get the week. It's Monday through Sunday. So Monday through Sunday, and you get all this stuff. And it is wonderful, and it's Susan Wingate. So I get to continue on in that vein, and will continue to do so forever and ever and ever if I can help it. But that's my planner, and I don't know about you guys, but I have to have a planner. That's just how it works for me. So let's see, what else is happening? Did I cover everything? Let's look at my notes and my planner. This one actually started in August 2018, which was really cool. And then it ends, when is it? Oh, it actually ends in December, so I'll have plenty of time to find 2020s. Okay, got that. Yep, All right. So if you want any of the patterns, go to my Etsy store. I believe I have 2 project bags left in my Etsy store. I have tons of floss pads, so get one of those while you're at it. Go join Weaver's Band Tapestry Sal so that you can participate in Neglected Floss Stitch Along, the ornaments of the month for 2019, the 50 by 50 and 25 by 25 for 2019, and in 14 days, the New Year's Eve Mystery Sale will take place, and I'll link you to that Facebook group as well. It's going to happen. She's already got the pre-stitch portion of the pattern up so you can plan ahead. Get your blue colors together, or whatever colors you want, but it has to be different shades. I don't know. She always does this to me, and it kind of, you know, I want to see the whole pattern so I can plan ahead, but I think that's part of the fun, right? It's like you don't know what's going to happen, so hopefully the choices you make will be good ones. But, you know, I mean, as long as the stitching's good, who cares, right? And you get to join a bunch of other people worldwide celebrating New Year's and stitching. So, and that's pretty much all I have for you today. So, oh, let me look in the book of knowledge, the tome, as it were, and let's see. Okay, so the next Floss Tube video is going to be Sunday, December 30th, and that's when I'll do the drawing for the Verbacco patterns, because I'll be more than finished with them. And so until then, Merry Christmas and keep on stitching.